From InfoComm 2017, the doors just closed to a show that had record attendance over 44,000 people.
Really, 44,000?
Over 44,000.
Maybe it was well organized because I didn't feel it.
Yeah, I don't know whether it was well organization or what it was, but it's over 44,000. So that's a new record. That's the second time in a row we've set a record in Orlando. Last year at Vegas, we did not break any records, which means that the show technically the last 4 years has been more successful in Orlando than Vegas, so there is no possible way ever in this world that they're going to stop coming to Orlando.
Wow. Well, that's too bad because I'm not a big fan of the city, as you probably know.
Yeah, I know a lot of people aren't. A lot of exhibitors, it was brought up in the exhibitors committee meeting, but I can tell you for a fact that this show will not leave Orlando. It's now going to be on a continuous rotation between Orlando and Vegas because it's all based on numbers, and the attendee surveys come back, and the exhibitor numbers come back, and they're both positive in surveys, and the numbers are ferreting that out. I mean, we beat last year's attendance by over 4,000 here in Orlando.
Yeah, and some of that too was a lot more international attendance, and a lot of that has to do with our increased participation at ISE. But the other thing is that I was talking to Nelson Baumgratz, who's InfoComm in South America. And he says that one of the things, we get a lot more South American attendees in Orlando than any place else because it's easier to get here.
Yeah, that does make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And another little stat that I think you'll find interesting, massive record, and that is 38% end users.
Wow.
38%. So the show has jumped in the last, half dozen years from less than 20% to 38%. So the show is being dominated by end users, and they're not... they're not the traditional end users. They're tech managers. They're people with title tech manager classification. That's a big deal because if you go on the show floor, you look at the big companies, the big projector manufacturers, the big control system manufacturers and such, they want end users. They want more end users.
Right.
They want to help drive the sale. They want to help the integrator to get the business by help coaching them through the process, especially with enterprise-wide sales.
Right.
So what about, Joel, what about new products? Let's talk about products and technology.
Okay, my favorite new product of the entire show, and this will surprise you because I came to look at all the VR hardware and everything, but the Tascam DR701D.
What is that exactly?
That is the successor to their DR60, for those of you who are in it. It's a 4-input mixer that bolts to the bottom of a camera and allows you to put into a DSLR or a camcorder, mix 4 microphones, plus it has a built-in SD recorder, but this one, as opposed to the previous one, this one's in a metal case, which will improve its ruggedness a great deal, and it finally has 4 inputs instead of 2. So nice. That was because it's going to make my life in producing videos. I have a little studio.
Yeah, you
a
have
lot
a
easier.
Little studio. You have a really nice studio. He's got a incredible studio. Well, some couple things I saw today. First off, a number of the projector manufacturers have very bright 4K laser projectors now, and there's Epson, Barco, Christie. Those are the ones that first come to mind. Even Sony, they all have staging projectors, right? But they all have now business room, meeting room projectors, that are about the size of the small quote-unquote projectors back in the original LCD days. Remember when the first set of LCDs came out? They were sort of bigger than the original LCDs versus the little traveling presenter ones that were really small. We're not like that size yet anymore. The portable presenter type. We're more like the meeting room size projectors that we used to install. Not as big as CRT projectors by any means. They're getting smaller. But what's interesting is most of these are in the $4,000 to $7,000 ANSI light output range, which is amazing because not only do you get that light output, but you also get 20,000 hour lamp life, which means it's going to probably last longer than the resolution standard will hold up.
Gary, when you and I got started, back in the days of the shootout, I can remember a 3,500 lumen projector that cost over $300,000 and weighed 380 pounds.
Yeah, the Talaria.
No, Hughes JVC.
JVC. Was it even that bright though? Or are they lying about that?
That was the way we calculated lumens back then.
Yeah.
But heck, GE Talarias were more money and less output.
Right. So I mean, I remember. You're right. I mean, both of us remember CRT days. The brightest CRT ever made was something in the range of 700-800 ANSI lumens using today's standard for measuring lumens. So, it's mind-boggling. But the laser technology is just listen, the projector dying a rapid death has been greatly exaggerated. Certainly LED walls are going to be big. We talked about it yesterday. The pixel pitch is getting smaller, but what's going to happen with the projector is it's going to be so inexpensive per square inch for video projection, right? Or per pixel, a number of pixels per square inch is going to be so much less expensive with projection than any other technology. Now they're getting brighter, better uniformity, better lamp life. That I don't know why. Like, it's going to be tough. I mean, I think that what will happen is in the meeting room, small meeting rooms, the 70 inches and above, we're now at the price range where, of course, you're going to put in a flat screen. But once you hit that 70-inch number and you go above 70, 80, 90, 100-inch and beyond, you're going to be almost forced to projection most of the time. When it needs to be interactive, obviously you have to have a flat panel or an Epson Brightlink type product.
Right.
But other than that, you're going to have to go with projection, don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely. What was your least favorite part of the show?
I can tell you the steps I had to walk. I mean, the only bad thing about it is when you have a big show, success show, you have to walk a long way. The show is very horizontal this year.
Oh my
gosh! So you walk in and you can to the right. When you go to the right or that direction down there, you're right. Basically you're walking. I don't know. You probably have to walk 10 minutes to get to that far side. I talked to an exhibitor today. I showed you their product, the Holy Mount product. I forget what they call it exactly. The Holy Bracket. HOLEY bracket for staging. It's a bracket that's a universal, very inexpensive, small bracket that works
with 2 cheese burrows on the back of it, designed to be able to fasten it to truss. It's very lightweight, very thin. So,
it is very cool.
Nice.
They were as far away in the worst possible space you can be on the show floor, literally, and they all the way to the far, and they were ecstatic by the response that they got. They had no complaints about it at all. They said, we saw more people than we thought we would see. We're perfectly fine being back here. That's a good thing, because most of the time when exhibitors are on the perimeter, they're not happy.
That was, my vote for most improved part of the show was the staging pavilion, where we've got more people all the time.
Sound stage?
And more participation by IATSE, which I think having the IA here is a huge thing, because for too many years our industry had an adversarial relationship with our union. And, it's great to see them here doing safety demonstrations, talking about rigging, talking about lighting, talking about the things that are really important to the live part of the industry. So I thought that was great. That was most improved.
Yeah, and that whole section was beautiful.
The other thing I thought,
it was beautiful.
The audio section, very, very well run this year. Right, you didn't have any of the issues with conflicting audio. The suites were done better. I think all the audio manufacturers have gotten used to the way this is working, and what that does is it gives us better audio demonstrations during the show than we've ever had before. This show was always a weak show for audio because you couldn't really hear anything.
Yeah, that's a good point. And the meeting rooms here are better. They're closer to the convention hall, the exhibit hall, compared to Vegas. Vegas, when you go to the sound rooms, you have to walk a long way.
Right.
And here they're closer, so I think more of them get automatically
Here
visited.
you just have to walk a long way on the floor.
Yeah, you have to walk more on the floor.
I think one of our people walked 7 miles inside the convention center yesterday.
Wow. That's amazing. But I will say that, kudos to Jason McGraw, to Dave Labuscus. They did put on a great show. But let's go to other products that you saw on the show floor. Anything else stand out for you that you think is just a slam dunk?
I did, at your suggestion today, I went back and forth between OLED and QLED. And what I saw was relatively neck and neck. I love a lot of OLED applications, but I didn't see I think at that level, we're going to now talk about price and yield.
Yeah.
So.
I think, that what I love about those technologies is how great the color is. I mean, it's like looking at a painting on a wall or a picture on a wall. Of course, I think we've written a lot about the wallpaper product from. Did you have a chance to see the wallpaper product from LG?
No.
The stuff that's thin as a credit card. The display technology is thin as a credit card.
No, I was looking at. I know they have two-sided and freestanding.
Yeah. So you saw the two. That's OLED. Yeah. So the two-sided OLED. It's about it's a little less thick than an iPhone, so it's not quite the thickness of an iPhone, but it's two-sided. So imagine that one side, the thickness of a credit card, just like hanging on a wall. It looks like it's built into the wall.
Yep.
and they had a lot of people come up and like touch it and try to figure out how they were doing it, and it's actually mounted with magnets. It's just a mind-boggling technology. I don't want to say we're not going to pick a top product of the show. We can't, because we're going to do that in awards. Our no pay-for-play awards. We do not do pay-for-play awards. Nobody can enter our awards. Nobody can nominate their product. We, the editors of Rave, pick the best products that we saw at the show. We collaborate on it for weeks till we decide who the best product is on the show. We talk about all the different product categories, and we don't do any of that pay-for-play stuff. So I don't want to give away any of the secrets, but I think I kind of know what mine's going to be, and I kind of know what Joel's would likely be. But what about, let's talk about technologies. What do you think was, I think we started the show thinking that collaboration, AV over IP, and 4K would be the dominant technologies. Did anything else stand out?
Sure, VR and AR.
Yeah, great one. Yep, VR and AR are a lot of places on the show floor.
Yeah. The Epson product for groups for AR was really nice. What is it called? Moverio?
Yeah, Moverio. Yep.
That was good. A lot of really good demonstration stuff. Having the people from University of North Carolina here was a big addition to the show. And it's Jason McGraw.
We're going to ask Jason McGraw to join us here. We're going to photobomb. Jason McGraw, in case you don't know, he's the VP of Exposition. He runs the trade show, the InfoComm show. He's the one that comes up with it. He's the one that made all the improvements that we've been talking about all day. Jason, if you can talk into the microphone and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Jason McGraw. I'm the Senior Vice President of Expositions for InfoComm International.
And Jason, you're actually live on Facebook right now, talking to our viewers.
Hello, everyone out
every
there.
afternoon we've been doing a wrap-up show, and yesterday, coming down the escalator, this is a great location. You have to go to this location next time, because coming down the escalator, Dave Labuscus comes down and we grab him, and you do the same thing. I'm like, come on over here. So first off, Jason, what was the attendance?
44,077.
44,077. That's something we're going to have to tweet right now, because that is an exclusive for us, because I haven't seen an announcement. Did you make an announcement?
I just made the announcement in the exhibit hall as the show closed. So
All
it's
right,
an all-time record high for us. We're really excited about it.
So 44,070?
44,077.
77. We got to get those 7 extra. You know, Dave and Labuscus and I were talking about earlier. He said every year in the show, we always have 20 or 30 people that sign up an hour or two before the show ends. And I was asking, do you have any idea where those people go? Because I want to know who comes to the show like this, an hour and a half. Like, you really want to see something badly to do that.
Exactly. It was either that or the free beer we were giving away in the park.
Yeah, that could be. Just come for the end parties.
I hadn't thought about that.
I may consider that for next year.
That's actually not a bad. No, Jason, what? Tell us. Give us a little show wrap up. What do you think?
Well, we're just flabbergasted. It's a fantastic show this year. We've been talking to all of our exhibitors and attendees, and everyone we've been speaking with has just been talking about what a great show it was this year, and so many new products introduced at the show. Fantastic stats, 39% first-time attendees, which is fantastic. Attendees from 117 countries, highest we've ever had internationally. Attendees from all 50 U.S. states. High number of technology managers attending this year, 41% of our audience.
41%. Wow, I thought it was 38.
So
that's amazing.
It's moving up there, and we had a record number of attendees take education content sessions with us this year. Over 3,500 folks took seminars and workshops throughout the week. We had almost 200 people at our Tide program, which was brand new this year. We had over 500 people at our Emerging Trends Day on Tuesday, which was an all-time high for a one-day program. And just the numbers go on and on. It's just phenomenal. Total show size, over 545,000 net square feet of exhibits and audio demo rooms and exhibitor demos. All in, fantastic show.
I started out this broadcast of our show daily every day, by saying that there's no question that InfoComm will continue to come back to Orlando year after year, because the stats prove that it's a great place to hold the show. Would you back me up on that?
Absolutely. We've been rotating between Orlando and Las Vegas, and I know people are very opinionated one way or the other about
including
where the show
Joel
should
here.
About not liking Orlando.
I know it's humid here in Orlando and it's dry in Las Vegas, but the air conditioning works great in both both venues. Yeah, but it's really hard to argue against the figures that are turning out here.
There's just too much walking inside this convention center.
Yeah, it's just one long building,
yeah.
which is great. But I think the other thing is, we have a shift in our audience. About 50% of the audience changes when we go from East Coast to West Coast, and talking with our exhibitors, many of them like that. The fact that they're seeing new people. That when we rotate back and forth. And so we asked our exhibitors last year about that as we were looking at our future show dates, and they all, the majority said, please keep the rotation going. So that's what we're doing.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. I think Joel would like to just see it in a third city, maybe.
Yeah, I really would, like New York. But I understand, we don't have to go there. We've talked about that before.
Well, no, the reality is we can't fit there. And, we did a study last year. We looked at all the cities in the United States, surveyed their convention space, their future convention space, hotel packages, rates, everything. And it really comes down to the best fit for us and future growth potential is Orlando and Las Vegas. I mean, they're the number 1 and 2 convention destinations in the country.
I can't
for
argue
good
with
reason.
that. I'm just looking for northern convenience.
And the hotels here are... This is the cheapest place to attend because the hotels are so inexpensive. There's more inexpensive hotels closer to the convention center here than even in Vegas. I mean, it's easy to find less expensive hotels, but between the two, and if you look at others, like in New York, obviously there's no way you're going to get cheaper hotel rates in New York. You're going to have to be outside of it. And Chicago, same way. But let's move on to something else. What about the theme? This year's theme of the show was what? It was something like "Take technology everywhere." Or you had a better line than that. Tell us about the theme and how you came up with that.
Well, we were saying, what will you create? And I think really, especially like with our Tide program, our Center Stage program, we're really trying to provide thought leadership in the industry to talk about solutions, experiences, and outcomes. It's not just this one piece of hardware or the software. It's together. How do you create solutions that take things to the next level for your customer? How do you improve learning outcomes? How do you improve the retail experience? How do you improve the entertainment value using technology? And so we're really trying to promote that as an association for the industry and have that reflected here in the show and the content and the programming that we're doing at the show.
I had a question I've been wanting to ask you all week.
Sure.
This has been, from my point of view, on the floor, one of the best run shows I've ever seen. I mean, literally, there are things that have been smoothed out over time. I think the staging pavilion was much better. I think the audio section of the show, which is always a problem to run, was done really well this year. So, at least from my point of view, this one looked really, really smooth. So I wrote that up. Credit where credit is due. Now here's what I want to know. What went wrong?
What went wrong? Not much, really.
Come on.
Knock on wood.
That has to be a good story.
Very few things, and they're common things. Every year you don't know. You plan perfectly, and some things happen. We started moving the show in, over a week and a half ago. I mean, last Thursday we were, starting the show move in. There was a lot of rain last week during the move-in period. There was another show in the building ahead of us, so we had to really rush to jam some things in, and that delayed some of the larger booths in the beginning part of the move-in. Nobody attending the show would have known any of that. Obviously, the show opened on time, everything looked great. We always have some issues, here and there, but you just deal with them. Our education program went flawlessly. I mean, it was just fantastic. There's always some lines and registration the first morning of the show. Everybody gets off the buses, and we had 3 different registration areas, and nobody waited in line more than 15 minutes.
No, it looked great.
Moved through rapidly.
The funny thing is, from the lines, I thought the attendance was going to be light.
Yeah.
Because there weren't any of the sign-up lines. So.
Yeah, amazing amount. What most people, and here's a word for all of you out there: please register in advance. Please book your hotel in advance. I think what we're seeing, and this is a trend in all trade shows, frankly, and I've talked to many of my colleagues in other industry events, is that, we do all this marketing and registrations open months in advance, and you're push, and it comes down to, we get nearly half of the show attendance registers in the last 2 weeks before the show.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
That's not just an attendee trend, though. I mean, those of us in the rental industry, people are booking shows later than they ever have before. Taking longer to make decision on what venue to put them into, that kind of stuff. I mean, we actually have shows booked where we know the city, but we don't yet know the venue.
Right.
and that's just never happened before.
Yeah, so I mean that's the big wild card for us. You do all this planning, and you're like, we think we're going to have this many people, or we think we're going to have that, and but it all comes together, and it's just been an amazing show. I mean, we're over the moon. We feel great. We had a great exhibitor meeting today. The exhibitors are really happy with the results. We're doing our rebooking for next year.
How's space sales for next year?
Yeah, 95% rebook of this year's space for next year. So out there, Mr. or Mrs. Exhibitor, if you haven't booked your space, you better do it soon. But it looks great.
You can eventually run out of space. So Jason, what does Jason McGraw do next week after this intense build to the show? What does Mr. McGraw do next week?
Literally and figuratively, I'm going to Disneyland. My family's coming here to town in Orlando. We're going to check out some of the parks and relax. But it's so amazing. So much work. We start planning the show more than 18 months in advance, and this is like organizing the Olympics. And it's such a high. Here it just kind of takes some time to decompress and process. But we're already well ahead and thinking on 2018 already and beyond. So it's
no better place to relax than the lines at Disney. Hey, by the way, so because I know you have a great relationship with the people of of the County of Orange here in Florida, I'm gonna correct you. You're going to Disney World.
I'm sorry.
Because they are going to get upset.
Yeah, I'm not getting on a plane and flying out to California. So yes, edit the live podcast to hear that I'm going to Disney World.
Right, and that would include all the 4 parks, and of course there's a new Avatar. No, is it Avatar? Yeah, the new whatever that movie is. James Cameron did world that just opened up at the Animal Kingdom.
I think that's one of the great things, and back to the success of the show being here. Themed entertainment is a great and growing sector for the audiovisual business, and if you look at what's happening at Universal and with Disney and all the other parks in the area, it's incredible, and that adds to the values of the destination. We did a lot of tours this week to some of the parks as well, from a technical standpoint.
Yeah.
And then a lot of the technical personnel from the parks came here to the show and learn and see new products. And so, it's just. I was having an interview earlier this week with folks from the Visitors Bureau and talking about Orlando as a destination, and it's really a great business destination. You go beyond just there's theme parks and going out with your family. I mean, the fact that you can get real business done here. And it's an international destination, and there's actually a lot of industries right around here. They got Lake Nona Medical City out there. Yeah. You've got the training and simulation with the government in this area, and a lot of international companies have headquarters in the Orlando area. So, we think it's a fabulous destination for business.
Does it sound to you like Jason's setting up to be able to write off his Disney tickets as research and development?
They are going to have a great time at Disney World. Our whole team is heading to Disney World tomorrow. Actually, we're going to Disney World tomorrow as well. And so anyway, I want to thank Jason for dropping by literally into our video cast. This has been great. It's all on Facebook Live. Of course, you can see this or share this with your friends through Facebook, facebook.com/RayPubs, and we'll also put it on our website at raypubs.com/ and you see all of our coverage from InfoComm at raypubs.com. Click on the InfoComm link or go to raypubs.com/InfoComm2017. Jason, I want to not only congratulate you, but I want to thank you for everything you've done.
Absolutely.
My pleasure. Thanks, Gary. Thanks, Joel.
I want to thank all of you for watching. I want to thank my co-host, Joel Rollins, for putting up with me all week, and also for producing the amazing content we have. And you need to go online and read Joel's columns. He's got some great blogs from the show floor, and he's got one special one that we uploaded yesterday about the program he mentioned in yesterday's video cast. So I want you to go over there and check that out. And I want you all to keep watching, listening, and reading Rave Pubs at ravepubs.com.
And we'll see you online, and we'll see you next year.
Bye.